Okay, gotta look awful today. Um, Welcome to If Then. And I usually wear blue for my If Thens on Fridays, but it's the Christmas season. This will slowly get more and more Christmas as time goes on. We're only in the first week. We got a few more weeks to go yet. It'll start building up. It'll start getting fancy schmancy. All right, just lights. That's my fancy schmancy. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Chaos, Tina. This is where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no special nothing. It's just me talking books, reading books, talking books. I got no special talents. I got no special creativity. I got no money for the special gadgets to keep your attention. So I hope that you will stay for this. This is our first, Christmas, if then. We've got a few more coming down the pike. This is our Regency Christmas. We will do contemporary romance Christmas, mystery Christmas, combination cozy and others, and paranormal Christmases, and a few other Christmases. So this is our first Christmases, and these are some of my favorites. No particular order, but the last one will be my favorite, my number one Christmas Regency book. And if you haven't already, check out Star Trek Next Generation earlier this morning. I'd appreciate it. I'm pretty sure it was not garbled this time, so Ariel, Auriel, I think it was. And before that was Ship in a Bottle, that was okay too. And don't forget to check out Flashback Monday, where we talk all about all the books in this magazine. And hmm, uh, it's just sometimes I do 60 or 70 or 80 of books. You can get mystery, romance, contemporary romance, Regency, paranormal, a Harlequin, suspense, mystery, inspirational, sci-fi. We do it all. So please check those out and my daily book reviews. We're finishing up Patterson's Alex Cross series. We're doing Patricia Briggs' Mercy Thompson series. We've got a whole bunch of series going on. I'm a series person. If you have not watched last year and you are a fan of Janet Ivanovich, please check those out. We did all 30. J.D. Robb, we did all 60 of those. We've done some if-thens on Regencies. We've done if-thens homicides, if-thens werewolves, if-thens... Why does she look cute away from camera? Never look cute on camera. Always look cute off camera. Oh, I've got a cat in the bag. Get the camera. Somebody get the camera. Get a video. Oh, well. All right. Let's get going here. Oh, it's good job, Chrissy. So, yours. Some of these you've probably never even heard of. Um, I hope you will enjoy these Regencies with me. Mary Balo, A Christmas Promise. Weddings are supposed to be joyous occasions, especially when a couple seems as well matched as Rudolph Pierce, Earl of Falodin, and his bride-to-be, Eleanor Transome. Ellie brings to the marriage a vast dowry, while Falodin, though distant, is tremendously desirable and possessed of a title most young ladies could only dream of. Yet Ellie is not most young ladies. She knows that she must honor her dear father's dying wish for her to wed the proud Earl, but she dreads a lifetime in a union without love. And how can Fallon claim to love her when he married her only for her fortune? As Christmas descends upon the Falden Manor, the warmth of the season may yet melt away the trappings of duty and wealth, leaving behind only a man and a woman destined for each other's arms. I love Mary Belo. There's a couple in this pile. Love Mary Belo. Simply. Simply. We've got a Simply in here. Well, a descendant of Simply anyway. Um, Let me just do this so I remember. Victoria Alexander. A Visit from St. Nicholas. There's an ornament in here. You're supposed to cut it out and hang it. Visit from St. Nicholas. Everyone knows that an Effingham always gets her way, but this time it's not going to be easy. Lady Elizabeth Effington simply could not suitably feel the joy of the Christmas season. 10 years had passed since she had boldly declared her love for Sir Nicholas Collingsworth. He rebuffed her and set out to seek his fortune, while Elizabeth was left a woman scorned. Now she discovers in horror that the inheritance she's managed to beautifully was never hers to be control. No power over her finances lay in the hands of the last man she ever wants to see again, Nicholas. But running Elizabeth's life isn't part of Nicholas's plans. He's intrigued when he discovers that the frivolous and flighty girl he once knew has turned into a beautiful and capable woman. Nick vows to woo and win her while she, unmoved by his fervent seduction, he swears he will not rest until she accepts that most precious gift of all, love. Mary Balo again. Under the mistletoe. Dear readers, Christmas has always been my favorite holiday, celebrating it as it does all that its finest in human experience, love, generosity, peace, and joy. I'm delighted that this volume makes available again 5 of my novellas. They are love stories in which Christmas is shown to have power to heal all the wounds of the human heart. A family Christmas brings together a couple estranged since just after their arranged marriage the year before and gives them the perfect chance to start over. The Star of Bethlehem features 1 betrothal ring lost, but 3 that are mysteriously found as broken marriage is abundantly mended. The best gift is the tale of a teacher who has never known family, love, or Christmas, then finds all 3 when asked to chaperone one of her pupils over the holiday. In Playing House, a lonely aristocrat and his daughter are drawn to an impoverished young woman and her siblings who are celebrating their last Christmas together with brave gaiety. An assortment of unhappy travelers stranded by bad weather at an inn on Christmas Eve encounter love after a young couple arrives to find there is no room at the inn just as their child is about to be born. Sounds familiar? Ah. Julia London, A Princess by Christmas. After 3 years of mourning and turning her deceased husband's Gazette into the ton's sauciest source of fashion and gossip, Hollis Honeycutt feels her life has been strangely bereft of late. Her sister is living abroad and her best friend moved to the country. What must a young widow of rank and reputation do? Why, transform her society gossip sheets into a serious investigative news, starting with a rumored coup and the rather dashing, mysterious gentleman who Hollis suspects might be the villain of her first real story, and she is the only one who can write it. Maverick Brendan is investigating terrible rumors of treachery and treason that threaten his home country of West Loria. But he must proceed with caution. No one can discover the truth. After all, who could ever believe he is West Loria's lost crown prince? Only Hollis Honeycutt's cerulean blue eyes seem to know more than she's letting on. And worse, Maverick can't seem to resist her curious charms. See what happens there. Price tag. Mistletoe Christmas. Elusa James, Christy Caldwell, Jana McGregory, and Eric Ridley. Erica Ridley. The Duke of Greystone's Christmas Revelry is famous throughout the British Isles for its plays, dancing magical grotto, and not to mention scandals leading to marriage licenses he hands out like confetti. But not everyone welcomes a visit from Cupid. Lady Cressida, the Duke's daughter, is too busy managing the entertainments, and besides her own father has called her dowdy. Her cousin, Lady Isabella Wiltshire, is directing Cinderella and has no interest in marriage. Lady Caroline Whitmore is already unhappily married. The fact that she and her strange husband have to pretend to be together just makes her dread the party all the more. But not as much as Miss Louisa Halkart, whose mother bluntly tells her that this is her last chance to escape the horrors of being an old maid. Okay. I sneeze. Joe Beverly, Christmas Angel. Weary of war and diplomatic wandering, Leander Knollys, Earl of Charrington, wants a home, a wife, and a good old-fashioned English Christmas. As he seems unable to fall in love, however, he will only consider a marriage a convenience to a sensible woman. He is beginning to despair when he encounters the perfect candidate, a woman so devoted to her late husband's memory that no one thinks she could ever love again. Christmas is coming and the cupboard is bare. Judith Rossiter is in no position to turn down the astonishing proposal, but it worries her. Why would an earl, and a most attractive one at that, after marriage to an impoverished widow with two young children? At least this main condition should be easily enough to fill. After folly of Judith's first marriage, a sensible rather than a sentimental union is exactly what she wants. See what happens there. I'm gonna go right on on her Facebook page. I've been meaning to do this for a while and I haven't gotten around to it. But she needs to do a Christmas book. She really does need to do. It would be nice to see all the sisters together. But this is a spin-off of her series. Um so this is book 2, 3, and I don't know what number this one is. But oh, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the first 2, 3 of her series. So Lady Alveston is a big lady in the town. Okay, so let's start with 1. And what's his face is helping her be a detective. At least I thought that's what's. So Lady Alveston's Christmas Grace. Goose. Lady Alveston's Christmas Chronicles, Volume 1, 1810. 3 years after being widowed, Teresa Lady Alveston finally settles into her dower property of Harrington Manor in the village of Little Moseley. However, she questions whether life in a small village will generate sufficient interest to keep her amused during those months when she is not in London or visiting, but she will see. It's December 1810, and Teresa is looking forward to her usual Christmas with her large brood, as her youngest daughter Celia's home. But then a carriage rolls up and disgorges Celia's three eldest children. Their father has mumps, and their mother has sent Jamie, George, and Lottie to spend Christmas with their grandmother. Teresa has never managed small children, not even her own. She assumes the children will keep themselves amused, but quickly learns that what amuses three inquisitive, curious, and confident youngsters isn't compatible with village peace. Just when it seems she'll have to invent some games herself, she and the children learn that with only 12 days to get before Christmas, the village flock of geese has vanished. Book two. These were not what's that? The guy's name that's friends with um the Sinsters. He does all the investigating. There's another set of books. That's what I was confusing these with. Teresa Lady Obblestone and her household are quietly delighted when her younger daughter, three children, Jamie, George, and Lottie, assist of returning to Teresa's house, Hunting Manor, in the village of Little Moseley, to spend the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas. Participating in the village traditional events, then out of the blue, one of the Teresa's oldest granddaughter, Melissa, arrives on the doorstep. Her mother, Teresa, older daughter, begs Teresa to take Melissa in until the family gathering. Despite having no experience dealing with moody, reticent teenagers like Melissa, Teresa welcomes Melissa warmly. The younger children are happy to include their cousin in their plans, and despite their initial aloofness, Melissa discovers she's not too old enough to enjoy the simple delights of the Christmas village. And the third one, Lady Alberston's Plum Pudding, Volume 3, 1812. Teresa Lady Alberston and her household again welcome her younger daughter's children, Jamie, George, and Lottie, but their cousin Melissa and Mandy, all of whom have insisted on spending the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas at Teresa's Harrington house in the village of Little Moseley. The children are looking forward to the village traditional events, and this year Teresa has arranged a new distraction. The plum pudding she and her staff are making for the entire village, while cleaning the coins donated as the pudding good luck tokens. The children discover that three aren't of the realm. When consulted, Reverend Colbeck summoned a friend, an archaeology scholar from Oxford, who confirms the coins are Roman, and a mystery ensues. I can't think of the detective in the book that I was thinking, because he helps out with Lady Oswald too. That's his first book. Okay. So let's see. I didn't even write those down. Okay. Last Chance Christmas Ball. Joanna Bourne, Patricia Rice, Nicola Cornick, Cara Elliott, Annie Gart Gracie, and Susan King, and you will see this again in my anthology listing. Actually, I should have saved it for my anthology listing, but I saw it and I had to go with it. This got 4 stars. The bloggers known as the Word Wenches returned with another collection of holiday novellas, seamlessly blended into one wonderful romance. Each author's unique style and storytelling talents are at their best, gifting readers one scrumptious treat after another. Joanna Bourne brings together a most unusual pair of jewel thieves who find new meaning in the words, "My true heart hath my heart." A Scottish Carol brings together Susan King's Dr. Seaton and his student in a touching tale of love, lost, and fame. Somehow, Patricia Rice adds a pair of talking mice into the story of a spinster who finds the most surprising holiday gift when the long-missing owner appears in home with Christmas locks. In Putney's In the Bleak Midwinter is a proven that true love heals all wounds. Returning from India, hoping for a glimpse of her child love, Kara poses the question of rekindling the fire ashes with holiday magic. A marriage of convenience just might be a love match if Nicola Cornick couple can see this as a season for marriage. Beverly knows how to bring the best out in the Duchess companion and her rogue of a godsend in Miss Finch and the Angel. Sometimes mistletoe kisses take time to savor and for lovers to come to believe in the magic of these kisses. Another Maryleborough. This is more current. Um, and this is the Someone series. I talked about this once already this year. We may go back and do it again. After her husband passing, Elizabeth Overfield decides to remarry. She meets Colin Henrik Lord Hodges at a Christmas party, but a relationship between them is impossible, for she is 9 years older than he. Still, she enjoys spending time with him, which accumulates in the two sharing an unexpected kiss. Upon returning to London, they intend to find more suitable matches, but agree to share a waltz at each ball they attend. However, each dance steadily ensnares them into a romance that forces the two to question what they are willing to sacrifice for love. Do, 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 do. See Maxwell, A Seduction at Christmas. 4.5 stars. Maxwell begins her new Scandals and Seduction series with a rousing adventure featuring deliciously stubborn characters, sensual games, and lively repartee. Dominic Linstead, the Duke of Holborn, is reminded of a vision warning him to beware innocence when a lovely young woman walks into his rooms at the inn, followed by assassins. Fiona Lackland is helping a friend by slipping a potion into the aristocrat's drink. Suddenly, men are breaking down the door, and she must help the Duke escape. They flee to his family home, where Fiona becomes entangled in his quest to reclaim a stolen ring, locate a Spaniard, and learn who wants him dead and why. Can they do it without falling in love? Jane Feather, Sabrina Jeffries, Julia London, my favorite authors. Snowy Night with a Stranger. 4.5 stars. Three top-notch Regency authors provide a delightful mix of styles and characters in these smart and charming novellas. A blizzard forces Ned Viscount Allerton to the home of Lord Roger Selby. Ned is intrigued by Selby's ward, Georgina, who's hiding something. He's soon embroiled in a delightful mystery and a romance in Feather's holiday gamble. After a coach accident, heiress Ellen Bancroft and her three charges are at the mercy of Martin Thorncliffe, aka the Black Baron, a cranky misanthrope, but once she unleashes his passion, she is determined to keep him, and Martin is in complete agreement. As Geoffrey tells it in When Sparks Fly. In London story, Fiona Haynes must spend a snowy night with a Highlander. While hunting for her brother, Laird Duncan Buchanan agrees to help, but she thinks he's just a big man with a damaged arm and a patched eye. What will happen when his true identity is revealed? Don't know. That was. I forgot to. Okay, let's get to it. Flower Christmas. Ah, oops. 4 stars. Calippus brings back her beloved wallflowers in a holiday tale to make your heart sing with joy of the season. Through each of the wallflowers has found true love, their matchmaking days are far from over. Lillian and Daisy's older brother, Rafe Bowman, arrives in London to court his bride to be. Before they set him loose on the ton and Lady Natalie, the ladies teach him the ways of society. Rafe is as bold and dashing as only an American and not as unprepared as a wallflower believes, which is how he handles Hannah Appleton, Lady Natalie's companion. When she's sent to check him out, Rafe is intrigued by Hannah and sees that she's included in every event. Falling in love with the charming rogue is far too easy for Hannah. See what happens. Um, Grace Burrows, what a lady needs for Christmas. 4.5 stars. Burroughs excels at creating touching holiday stories that capture the spirit of the season, as well as the joy of love and the importance of family, friends, and forgiveness. Lady Joan Flynn is running from the scandal of being seduced by a scoundrel with Scottish wool magnate. Dante Hartwell's daughter sees her on a train platform and invites her to share their private car. Joan intrigues Dante, so when he learns of her predicament, he proposes. The union would gain Dante a place within the aristocracy and the financing he needs for his mills. The magic of the season brings them together in special ways, softening Dante's heart, allowing him to find a way to help Joan regain her reputation and hold on to her dreams. And this should go in my anthologies. I found all these anthologies. Oh well. It will be in my anthologies. We'll include it in the anthologies too. Christmas Brides. Susan Enoch, Alexander Hawkins, Elizabeth Essex, and Valerie Bowman. 4.5 stars. What a delightful quartet of spirited holiday stories to brighten any season. These are quick, charming, heartwarming, and emotionally sensual novellas, each as different as their authors, as yet as wonderful readers are for a highly pleasurable respite. Enoch gifts readers with one hot Scot, where lovely Julia Prentice escapes a suitor's Highland home and comes upon a very naked Duncan Lennox. The storm forces them to spend the night together, and honor loses out to passion. In Hawkins' Once Upon a Christmas Scandal, Lady Ellen discovers her father has offered a huge fortune for a man to marry her. Lord Swansbury isn't after her wealth, he head over heels for her, but it will take a bit of Christmas magic to make her believe it. The Scandal Before Christmas seals Lieutenant Ironworth's fate in Essex Reckless Bride spinoff. Annie Leslie has nothing to lose by accepting Ian's proposal except for her heart. Bowman shows that it happened under the mistletoe as confirmed bachelor Oliver Townsend flees London marriage-minded mamas for a country party. Also on the run is Miss Cerealian Blake. The two devise a plan to masquerade as a couple for a few days. Ah, definitely going to include these in my anthology listings. And I don't think I'm doing that here. Another Lady Burrs that I'm just going to throw in. um, Lady Burrs Christmas Portrait, 4 stars. Lovely Christmas story centering on the deep values of the holidays showcases Burroughs' talents for creating unforgettable characters and telling the stories that shine with the joy of the season. This is what readers have come to expect from Burroughs' holiday titles. When famed portrait painter Elijah Harrison is caught in a snowstorm, he seeks shelter at the nearest home. To Jenny Wyndham, his visit is the best gift of all. As an inspiring artist, she sees this chance to encounter an opportunity to learn from a master. The fact that Elijah is young and handsome only adds to her interest. Elijah's dream of being accepted into the Royal Academy is getting closer. He cannot allow the temptation of falling in love to stop him from reaching his goal. With the lovely Jenny as both pupil and muse, he feels he will attain his goal, yet Elijah knows that Jenny's innate talent and his support of her work could endanger his chances. The undeniable attraction between them, the growing desire, and the eventual love they share enables them to grow as people and artists. See what happens there. His Mistress by Christmas. His Mistress by Christmas, Victoria Alexander. 4 stars. Alexander's sense of humor and clever repartee shine in a delightful romance brimming with characters, and mayhem. The widowed and unconventional Lady Veronica Smithson decides to find passion again. She doesn't want to be a wife, but be an explorer. Author Sir Sebastian Hadley Outward as mistress sounds good. Sebastian sees Veronica as the challenge he needs now that he's ready to settle down. She refuses his proposal and encounters one of her own to be his mistress. Adriana Basso, 'tis the season to be sinful. Here. 'Tis the season to be sinful. Basso's fast-paced holiday story is filled with tenderness and poignancy as well as believable primary and secondary characters. American businessman Richard Harper needs a country manor for entertaining. Widow Juliet Wentworth wants to rent out her home while holding it for her son, but her brother stops the deal, so they agree to marry. Richard will have a hostess and Juliet will have the house. The marriage of convenience swiftly changes, though Richard only sets his passion free in the bedroom. He leaves for months, returning before the holidays. With Juliet, the children, and family underfoot, Richard must join the festivities. While he realizes that he wants and needs this family and this home that Julie has made for him. An affair before Christmas. Affair before Christmas. 4.5 stars. James brilliant. Her stories are dazzling. Her characters intelligent. Her multi-layered plots complex. Her dialogue and witty and sophisticated. In a new season for the Desperate Duchess, and of course there's a scandal, a duel between Gemma's brother and the Duke of Villiers. But there's more. Gemma, the Duchess of Beaumont, is reunited with Poppy, the Duchess of Fletcher. 4 years ago, Fletch, the Duke of Fletcher, and Poppy fell in love in Paris, but that love appears to be lost. Poppy hopes to build a new life, and Fletch plans to woo her back. Meanwhile, Gemma and her husband live almost separate lives. Their only pleasures come from the chess matches. And then there's the Duke of Villiers, who's healing from his wound and near death from Carol and helps him recovery. I don't know why this one came up. It came out in January, but it came up in my listing, so I'm going to do it. The Lady Most Willing, another one that's going to be for the anthologies. Um, Julia Quinn, Eliza James, and Connie Brockway, 4.5 stars. The Lady Most Willing is a novel in 3 parts that displays how a trio of diverse writers can collaborate on one story. With his nephews rebelling against marriage, Lord Taran Ferguson decides to fall back on tradition, bride stealing. He and his drunken cronies accidentally seize 4 ladies and one angry duke. Miss Katrina Burns realizes she is the mistake in the abduction, since she is neither rich nor beautiful, but when she's left alone with John Shevington, while the others find their way to rooms, an instant attraction begins. Can a duke wed a penniless commoner when an heiress pursues him? Taran's nephew Byron is a manly, highly conscious of social conventions and rather stuffy, which is why it's so fascinating when he becomes fascinated by Fiona Chisholm, a lady with tattered reputation. Lady Celia Tarleton is too high in station and wealth for Taran's youngest nephew Robin, but he must learn to trust himself and trust to learn to love. Oh, what happens at Christmas? Alexander Penn's 4 stars. Alexander Penn's a delightfully heartwarming story that is perfect for the season. Her cast of characters will charm readers while the snappy dialogue keeps the story moving. Camille, the widowed Lady Langham, wants to marry Prince Nikolai Prensky. With her family all over the globe, she hires a troupe of actors to play them and give Prince Nikolai a traditional English Christmas he'll never forget. The only person who actually knows of the ruse is her twin sister Beryl. The plan is perfect until the appearance of her former best friend Grayson Elliott, who proclaimed his love for her the night before her wedding and then disappeared for 11 years. Now he is back and determined to be in Camille's life. Amidst a comedy of errors, Gray makes progress with Camille. When Camille's actual family shows up, including her dead father, a host of problems occur. Hmm. I don't know. His Christmas pleasure. Kathy Maxwell. 4.5 stars. Maxwell is a master of combining poignancy and charming characters with humor. Abigail Montrose has been jilted and is now to be married off to a man with 13 children. So when the dashing Andros Baron de Vaso offers a chance to escape, she grabs it. The illegitimate son of a Spanish nobleman, Andres has just acquired a country estate, but he must leave London immediately or forfeit his property to the husband of the latest lover. The rogue will do anything for his own land, and Abigail has the money he needs. Though it's to be a marriage of convenience, each far too tempted by the other to make the marriage not to make the marriage passionately. And wait, I got that page wrong. It's not even in here. Ah, was The Night After Christmas. And 4.5 stars. An utterly unwonderful novel from the incomparable Jeffries, emotional, sensibly smart, and wonderfully romantic. Pierce Waverley's Earl of Devmont keeps his heart safe by living the life of a desolate rogue. He refuses to have any contact with his mother, even after a missive telling him she is near death. He rushes home at Christmas only to discover the letter was a ruse concocted by his mother's companion. Camelia Stewart Pierce is immediately attracted to Camelia, but he only wants mother and son to reconcile. Pierce puzzles over mysteries in his mother's past while learning to deal with the power of Camelia's love. It happened one season. There's also It Happened One Night too. Oh, I hope my audio is still here. Please let my audio still be here. Um, this is gonna go on the. Why did I put all these anthologies in here? They should have been in the anthology list. Oh well. Stephanie Lawrence, Mary Balow, Jacqueline Delisandro, and Candace Herm. Four renowned authors use the same plots and stories that are unique as the ladies of the genre. Lauren's hero meets the woman of his dreams in a dark library where she's snooping for clues to catch a blackmailer. She thinks she'll remain a spinster while his plans to pose as an engaged couple to ferret out the criminal is a ruse to woo and win his lady in the seduction of Sebastian Tanner. Wallflower Cleo has a surprisingly chance of passion in Balow's only love. The only man she's kissed in hunting for a wife, and he wants her. She won't marry him until she can prove she's not barren. Hope springs eternal when free-thinking artist and soldier are brought together by D'Alessandro. The artist returns home to be met by her brother's commanding officer. He has a painful secret, and only telling it to his friend's sister can be free. A pair of misfits makes the perfect match, and Hearn's fate strikes a bargain. A beautiful story with a mesmerizing message of acceptance. He is too rough around the edges, and she has a limp. Can they find love? And all of these are going in my anthology listing. All right. My favorite Christmas. Joanna Lindsay and the Present. If you are a Mallory fan, please go watch my Mallory video. My If Then. There's a couple of Mallory videos. One of them is If Then, and it's a Regency. And I go through Belos, Wren's, and Julia Quinn's, Bridgerton's, and Stephanie Lawrence, Mallory's, and Catherine Coulter's, Sherbrooke's, etc. The Mallorys are a cute family. There's only about 8 books in the core series. But this is once all the kids have gotten their spouses, they come together for Christmas. So you catch up on the entire family, what's going on with them, who's had more kids, who has went on adventures, who did this, who did that. You catch up. It's like a family gathering at Christmas, and they catch up on each other's family events. And then there's a present, and the mystery of the presents, and the significance of the present, and the story of the present is awesome. In the present, the gathers together her most popular creations, the Mallory, for a memorable family Christmas and the surprising discovery of a long ago love affair between the first Mallory and a wild gypsy. And that's their great great grandmother. And it is awesome. England, 1825. The Mallory clan always spent the Christmas holidays at Haverston, the ancestral estate in the country where the oldest among them had been born and raised. Jason Mallory, the third Marquis of Haverston and the oldest of the 4 brothers, was the only member who was still a permanent resident. The head of the family since he was only 16, Jason has raised his brothers, 2 of whom have been utterly scandalous in their pursuits, and a young sister. At present, the various Mallorys and offsprings were quite numerous and difficult to place, sometimes even for Jason himself, so it was a very large brood that gathered at Haverston these days for the Christmas season. Jason's only son and heir, Derek, was the first to arrive more than a week before Christmas. With him came his wife, Kelsey, and Jason's first 2 blonde and green-eyed grandchildren. Anthony, his youngest brother, was the next to arrive only a few days after Derek. Tony, as most of the family called him, admitted to Jason that he's deserted London early after hearing that his brother James had a bone to pick with him. Annoying James was one thing, and something Anthony often strived to do. But when James was out for blood, well, Tony considered that a different matter entirely. Anthony and James were his youngest brothers, yet only a year apart in age themselves. They were both skilled pugilists, and Anthony could hold his own with the best of them. Yet James was heftier, and his fists were frequently likened to solid bricks. With Anthony came his wife, Rosalind, and their 2 daughters. Judith, the oldest at 6, had taken after both her parents, having her mother's glorious red gold hair and her father's cobalt blue eyes. A seriously striking combination that Anthony feared was going to make her reigning beauty of her day, which is, as her father and reformed rake, he was not looking forward to. But his youngest daughter, Jamie, was going to break some hearts as well. But even with all his guests, Jason was the first one to notice the present that had appeared in the parlor while the family was breakfasting. It was hard to miss, actually placed prominently up on the pedestal table next to the fireplace, wrapped in a gold cloth, bonded with a red velvet ribbon and a bow. It was oddly shaped, nearly like the size of a thick book, yet a round protrusion on top suggested it was nothing that simple. Poking a finger at it showed that the protrusion could move, yet not very much, as he found out when he tilted the present sideways, as it didn't change position. Strange, yet stranger still, was that there was no indication of whom the present was from, nor whom it was for. A bit early to passing out Christmas gifts, ain't it? Anthony remarked as he sauntered into the room to find Jason holding the present. The Christmas tree isn't even been brought in yet. That was my thought as well, since I didn't put it here, Jason replied. No, then who? I have no idea, Jason admitted. Who's it for then? Anthony asked. I'd like to know that myself. Anthony raised a brow at that point. No card? Jason shook his head. None. I found it here on the pedestal myself, he said, and he put it back. Anthony picked up the present as well to poke it out a bit. Someone sure dressed it up. Fancy, I'll wager it will fascinate the children, at least until we find out what it is. As it happens, it fascinated the adults as well. In the following days, since none of the family owned up to having put it there, the present created a sensation. Just about all of the adults poked, shook, and otherwise examined it, yet no one could figure out what it might be or whom it was for. Those having arrived so far were gathered in the parlor the night when Anthony walked in holding one of her twins. "Don't ask why we're late. You wouldn't believe it," she said. Then in the next breath, first the wheel on the coach fell off. Then not a mile down the road one of the horses lost not one but two shoes. After we finally get that all taken care of and we're almost here, the bloody axle broke. I thought surely Juan was going to kill the poor coach by then. He certainly kicked it enough. If I didn't think to wager him that we would arrive here today, I really don't think we would have. But you know I never lose a wager, so. By the way, Uncle Jason, what's an unmarked grave doing in that lovely clearing east of here? The one close to the road that runs through your property. We ended up walking through it to get here since it was the shortest route by that point to just head across the clearing. No one said a word at first, still in bemusement after that long dissertation, but then Derek said, "Remember that grave myself now that you mentioned it, Cousin Reggie, and I came across it when we were young'uns gadding the estate. Always meant to ask you about it, Father, just never got around to it, then forgot about it." If you want to know more, you'll have to read the present. And we might do it separate as a separate video. We'll see what happens. But that is the end of your if then. I missed a few on my list here. If then Christmas Regency version. We will do Christmas cozies, Christmas mysteries, Christmas contemporary romances. Tons of Christmas this year. And I hope you like my cat. It was a gift. Have a good one.